The air in the Pinnacle Solutions conference room was thick with anticipation, and my heart beat a frantic rhythm against my ribs. It was June 7th, 2024, a day I had been living for. I was huddled in my chair, hands clasped under the sleek mahogany table, trying to look composed. 4 months, my entire life had been that moment, the culmination of countless late nights, endless calls, and meticulous presentations that had secured a jaw-dropping $1.8 billion deal with Horizon Tech. It wasn't just a win, it was a career-defining moment. I pictured the headlines, the praise, the respect I had earned. The deal was mine. I had made every connection, built every deck, and won every bit of trust from Horizon's team. Then my boss, Karen Walsh, stood up. She was all polished confidence and razor-sharp heels, her navy suit perfectly tailored. She cleared her throat, and the room fell silent. "I'm so pleased to announce," she said, her voice dripping with smug satisfaction that made my skin crawl, "that I closed the Horizon Tech deal." The room erupted in applause. Karen's name echoed through the space, a triumphant chorus for the hero of the hour. I felt a physical blow to my chest, a crushing weight that made it hard to breathe. My blood ran cold. It was a trick of the light, a phantom limb, but it felt like she had taken a knife and carved me out of the picture. I was invisible. Humiliation was a slow, burning fire. I felt it on my face, in the tightening of my jaw. She had stolen it all, my work, my victory, my chance at a promotion. Her smile, aimed right at me, was a knife twist. It said I won. You lose. The meeting ended in a blur. I walked back to my desk, my mind a storm of noise. The city outside my office window seemed to mock me with its bright, relentless energy. I replayed her betrayal in my head, an endless loop of her declaration and the sound of the applause. The anger was a new, sharp thing, and it turned my churning stomach into something solid and cold. It couldn't be the end. Karen thought she had outsmarted me, that she could just bury my months of work and move on. She was wrong. A plan, sharp and precise, began to form. I was done being her shadow. She had underestimated me, and she was about to find out how much that cost. I was a ghost in my own apartment. The city hummed outside my window, but inside, all I heard was Karen's voice. Sleep was a distant memory. My laptop screen was the only light illuminating a battlefield of emails and digital files. I was a detective, a scavenger, hunting for the breadcrumbs of my own life. I opened old emails, the ones I had sent at 2 a.m. Attached is the latest Horizon pitch deck. Let me know your thoughts. I saw Karen's reply. Looks good. Tweak the font a little. Vague. Useless. That was all she ever gave me. I kept digging, my fingers flying across the keyboard. My gut clenched as I found my masterpiece, the final polished pitch deck. It was perfect. It was detailed, comprehensive, and undeniably mine. Then I found the gut punch email. Karen had forwarded my deck to Mr. Bennett, the CEO, a week before the meeting. The subject line was bold, a slap in the face, my final presentation for Horizon. My name wasn't mentioned anywhere. She had taken it all. The blood rushed to my ears. I stood up, my rage a physical force. My hands shook, but my voice was steady as I marched to her office, my heels clacking a war drum on the polished floor. Karen was sitting in her chair, a phone to her ear. She gestured for me to wait, and I stood there, a statue of fury. When she hung up, she looked at me, a tiny smirk playing on her lips. "Something you need, darling?" she asked, the sweetness a venomous lie. "Why did you take my work?" I demanded, my voice low and firm. Her smirk widened. She leaned back, lacing her fingers behind her head. "Prove it," she said, the words a challenge, a taunt. The dismissal stung, but it also ignited a new fire. She thought I couldn't. She thought I'd back down. I turned on my heel and left, my resolve hardened to steel. This wasn't just about the Horizon deal anymore. It was about reclaiming my worth, my identity. I would unearth every shred of evidence, every lie, every little piece of a truth she was so desperately trying to bury. My apartment became a war room. Papers were scattered everywhere. Karen might have stolen the win, but I was going to steal it back. I confided in my friend Mia, a fellow analyst, my voice trembling as I recounted the conference room betrayal. We were at our usual coffee shop, and the smell of stale coffee and burnt pastries was a strange comfort. "No way," Mia said, her eyes wide with disbelief. She leaned forward, her voice a conspiratorial whisper. "That's so low. You know, I was working late last week, and I saw her at her desk, with your pitch deck pulled up. She was changing some of the charts." My pulse quickened. Another clue. We got back to the office and huddled over my laptop. Mia, a whiz with company software, navigated to the shared drive. She was a whirlwind of clicks and keyboard shortcuts, and soon she pulled up the access logs for my Horizon files. My heart pounded in my chest. There it was, a flurry of activity under Karen's name, 2 days before the meeting. She hadn't just forwarded my work, she had copied my entire file and made a few minor tweaks to make it look like her own. "We've got her," Mia said, her grin infectious. The victory was a small spark of light in the darkness of the past few days. But a new fear crept in. Would the higher-ups believe me over Karen's polished lies? She was a senior vice president, a big name in the company. I was just a mid-level analyst. That night, my fiancé, Tom, tried to cheer me up. We were sitting on our couch, a late dinner spread on the coffee table. He squeezed my hand. "You were tougher than she was," he said, his faith in me a grounding force. Then my mom called, her voice full of pride. She had seen an article about Pinnacle's big win. "Your boss, Karen, is so amazing. I saw her name in the news," she gushed. Her words cut deep, a fresh wound. I felt invisible all over again. I hung up, tears stinging my eyes, but Mia's discovery was a fire that wouldn't go out. I wouldn't let Karen's smugness last. I stayed up late, saving the logs and every email, every detail. The stakes felt higher than ever. It wasn't just about a promotion anymore. It was about my reputation. I visited my mom, hoping for some kind of support, some kind of validation. We sat in her kitchen, the air thick with unspoken words. I told her everything about Karen's theft and my plan to expose her. She shrugged, a dismissive gesture that cut me to the core. "She's your boss," my mom said, her tone matter-of-fact. "She earned it. You should be happy for her." My throat tightened. It was a familiar feeling, this sense of being overshadowed, of my accomplishments being swept aside. I left her house, the silence of my ride home deafening. I threw myself back into my work, my pain a new source of fuel. Mia texted me, breathless. "Check your emails." Now. I opened my laptop, my heart hammering. She had found an email Karen sent to her personal assistant, accidentally carbon copying Mia. The subject line was Horizon Deal Notes. The body of the email was a confession, brazen and careless. "Just so you know, I used the analyst's work to impress the CEO. Don't tell anyone." My hands shook as I saved the email, my blood boiling with a mix of fury and exhilaration. This was dynamite. Then, the next morning, Karen held a team meeting. She was all smiles, announcing a new client meeting with Horizon to solidify the partnership. She talked about my vision, my team, my hard work. A cold panic hit me. She wasn't done. She was going to use this meeting to further solidify her lies. The clock was ticking. I spent the next few nights in a blur, compiling my evidence, the emails, the call logs, the access logs. My apartment was a fortress of files, each document a weapon in my war against Karen's lies. Tom found me at my desk at midnight, exhausted. He wrapped his arms around me from behind, resting his chin on my shoulder. "You were unstoppable," he whispered, his faith grounding me in the chaos. Karen's meeting loomed, a dark storm on the horizon. But I was ready. I had a new plan. I was going to get to the client before she did. My evidence was a fortress. Emails, logs, notes, and a recording of Karen's confession. The walls of my apartment were covered in my battle plan, a visual representation of my war against Karen. Tom suggested a bold move. Why not pitch directly to Horizon? I laughed, but the idea took root. It was risky, but it might have been the only way. Then a whisper from Amy in HR. She was a friend of Mia's, and she told us Karen's race and a potential VP role were both contingent on the Horizon deal. Her betrayal wasn't just about ego, it was a cold, calculated power grab. My jaw dropped. This was bigger than I thought. The phone rang. It was Karen, her voice syrupy sweet. "I was so pleased with your work on the Horizon deal," she said. The team really pulled together. I was going to go ahead and process a little bonus for you. It was a sign of my appreciation. A bribe. A peace offering. A way to buy my silence. I wanted to scream, to hang up, but I kept my composure. Thanks, Karen, I said, my voice steady. I appreciate it. The office had become a battlefield. Karen's cronies spread rumors that I was careless, that I was a troublemaker. But I had Mia. She was my rock, my confidant, my co-conspirator. We were a team of two, and we weren't backing down. I would get to the client first. I would get to Lily from Horizon. I would not let Karen win. I was shaking with a new kind of fury. I had rejected Karen's bribe, and I had a recording of her admitting to the theft. I played it for Mia, and her jaw dropped. This is massive, she said, her eyes wide with excitement. But the war wasn't over. Mia, ever the detective, uncovered Karen's new plan, a solo pitch to Horizon for a new project, using my original notes. She was relentless, and she was still spinning her web of lies. She told anyone who would listen that I had nearly lost the client, that she had to step in and save the deal. Coworkers started avoiding me, their whispers a constant, low buzz. The office felt cold and hostile, but Mia stayed loyal. We'll fix this, she vowed. I sent an email to Lily, the Horizon representative I had worked with, telling her I wanted to meet. Her reply was short, but it was a lifeline. I trusted you, not Karen. My confidence surged. But Karen had one more trick up her sleeve. She announced that she would be presenting the Horizon deal at a major corporate conference, a high-profile event where all the big players would be. My stomach churned. This was her last, desperate move to cement her lies, to claim my victory in front of everyone. I pictured her on stage, basking in the spotlight that should have been mine. My mind raced. I needed a plan to outmaneuver her. I had Lily's trust and Mia's help, but this conference was a make-or-break moment. This wasn't just about a deal anymore. It was my reputation, my career, my future. And I was going to fight for it. The office buzzed with Karen's whispers and outright lies about my careless work, but I ignored the gossip, focusing on Lily. Her latest email was a confirmation, a lifeline. I was the deal's true architect. Mia and I planned to meet with Lily before the conference. Our late-night calls were filled with strategy, mapping out every step. I compiled my evidence, the emails, the logs, the recordings, Lily's endorsement, into a presentation that was a fortress of truth. Karen planned to take the stage and claim my work, and the thought made me physically ill. I met Lily at a cozy, off-the-grid coffee shop, a folder of evidence trembling in my hands. I showed her everything, the emails, the access logs, the recordings. She listened, her expression serious and unwavering. I backed you at the conference, she promised. Relief flooded me, a wave of warmth washing over the cold dread that had been my constant companion. I went home and practiced my pitch, my voice growing stronger with each run-through. Then Karen called, her voice syrupy sweet. She invited me to a team meeting. My gut screamed trap, but I agreed. I had to know what she was planning. The conference was days away. My apartment was a command center, littered with files and empty coffee cups. Mia helped me refine my pitch, her faith in me unwavering. Karen's lies were a dark cloud, but Lily's support was my sunlight. I pictured standing tall on that stage, my truth silencing her for good. This was my moment. Karen's team meeting was a public lynching. She called me her great assistant and a valued member of the team. The room clapped politely. Her words were a knife, a public degradation, but I kept my face impassive. I was secretly recording everything. Another nail in her coffin. I shared the recording with Mia, who grinned. She was losing it, she said. You were unstoppable. The next day, Karen cornered me in the break room, her icy tone sending a chill down my spine. If you so much as uttered a single word at that conference, she said, her voice a low hiss, I would make sure you were demoted so fast your head would spin. I stared her down, my resolve a solid block of ice. Do it, I said and walked away. At home, I reviewed my evidence. The recordings, the emails, the logs, all of it was bulletproof. Tom hugged me tight. She was desperate, he said. She was losing. Karen's threat lingered, a shadow on my thoughts, but I wasn't scared. Mia and I worked late, perfecting my presentation, my plan. The conference was my battleground, and I was ready to fight with everything I had. Karen thought she could intimidate me, but I was done bowing down. This was my moment to reclaim my work, and no threat would stop me. Karen's demotion threat rattled me, but Amy from HR confirmed it was a bluff. Karen needed the CEO's approval, and she was losing credibility. I compiled a damning report for HR, emails, logs, recordings, everything. I handed it to Amy, praying for a miracle. Then Lily texted me. Horizon was eyeing a new $500 million deal. Karen was pitching it, and she was using my notes. My blood boiled. She was relentless. Amy revealed Karen had told Mr. Bennett, the CEO, that I had tried to sabotage the Horizon deal. My head spun from her audacity. I sent my report to Amy, hoping she could push it up the chain of command. Mia found another client email, praising me, not Karen. It was undeniable proof. Tom said, "You were winning." I called Lily, planning a conference meeting to strategize. "We'll fix this," she said. Karen's solo pitch loomed. If she won the new deal, she would have an airtight alibi. I would lose everything. But Lily's support and Amy's backing gave me strength. I pictured standing before Horizon's execs, my truth shining like a beacon. My apartment was a maze of files, my resolve unbreakable. The conference was my shot to reclaim my deal, but Karen's lies were a hurdle. I had to be flawless. Karen's solo pitch to Horizon was her last chance to erase me. I collaborated with Mia and Lily on a counterpitch. We used my original plan for the new $500 million deal. Amy revealed Karen's pitch had errors, a careless mistake. She had used my rough draft, and it was full of misaligned data. I almost laughed. Her carelessness was my edge. Lily confirmed Horizon trusted me implicitly. We perfected my pitch, every slide a masterpiece of my own work. The phone rang. It was Karen. "Back off," she warned, her voice a low growl. I ignored her, my focus razor sharp. Mia and I worked late, Tom bringing us snacks and moral support. The conference was days away. If I faltered, she would twist the narrative, and I would be lost. I imagined her panic when my pitch outshone hers, when the executives saw the truth. The apartment glowed with the light of my laptop, my evidence stacked high. Lily's trust fueled me, but Karen's desperation made her a wild card. I checked every detail, picturing the applause for me, the rightful winner. This was my moment to prove I was no one's shadow. I secured a conference slot to pitch to Horizon, backed by Lily. I practiced tirelessly, my voice confident, my evidence unshakable. Mia overheard Karen planning to sabotage my pitch. My stomach sank. She was ruthless. But Lily texted, "We're good?" "Don't worry." I double-checked my recordings and emails, ensuring nothing could be disputed. Tom watched me rehearse, grinning. "You were a star." Karen's plan gnawed at me. If she derailed my pitch, I would lose everything. I decided on a risky move. I was going to call her out in my presentation. I would expose her lies in front of everyone. The thought of it made my heart pound, a mix of terror and exhilaration. At the conference, Karen gave her pitch, dismissing me as support staff. I waited, my fury a slow-burning ember. When my slot arrived, I presented my evidence, the emails, the logs, the recordings. The room fell silent. Horizon's execs grilled Karen, her confidence cracking. She accused me of faking everything, but I stayed calm. Lily nodded from the crowd, her support a lifeline. Tom, now a senior VP, pulled me aside. "I was reviewing your evidence," he said, his tone neutral. My heart pounded. His decision was everything. Karen glared, her smugness gone. I had shaken her, but the fight wasn't over. I imagined her scrambling as the truth sank in. Mia whispered, "You nailed it." Tom met me later, a look of genuine admiration on his face. "Horizon wanted you for the new deal," he said. Relief washed over me, a wave so powerful I almost cried. Amy told me Karen's pitch had flopped, her errors alienating Horizon. My lies were unraveling. But Karen cornered me, her voice trembling. "Please," she begged. "Let's share the credit. Just this one. It would save my raise." I saw through her, a desperate animal. "No," I said, and for good measure, I recorded her plea. Mia cheered. She's done. I dove back into my Horizon pitch, perfecting every detail. The office buzzed with my momentum. I wasn't just fighting for a deal, I was fighting for my legacy. Karen thought she could cling to my success, but I was ready to seal my victory. Mia found a glitch in my data, a misaligned number. We worked all night, our eyes burning, but we fixed it. Tom confirmed Horizon was all in. But Amy said Karen was still blaming me in her HR review. Then Karen, the defiant one, pitched to Horizon again, using my work. I barged into her meeting, my evidence in hand. I played the recordings, showed the emails. Karen froze, her face ashen. The exec stared. HR suspended her that day. She cornered me, her eyes wild. "I'll sue," she hissed. I just shook my head. "Good luck," I said and walked away. Lily texted, "You won." Karen's lawsuit threat was a worry, but my friend Emma, a lawyer, said it was baseless. A delayed tactic. I focused on Horizon's final meeting. Lily secured another client support, a boost to my credibility. I felt unstoppable. Karen sent a letter, begging to settle. I saved it as more evidence. Tom told me to ignore her. The Horizon meeting was days away, and I was ready. My pitch was flawless, backed by Lily and the new client. The office respected me now, my fight and inspiration. Karen's shadow was gone, but I stayed sharp. I visualized the $500 million deal as mine. This wasn't just about the deal, it was about proving my worth. I met Karen in November. She begged for mercy, claiming she had changed. I saw through her, a desperate animal cornered. "I'm done," I said and walked away. Horizon offered me the $500 million deal, praising my honesty. I was overjoyed, but Karen told Mr. Bennett I had stolen her clients. I showed him my evidence, and Tom vouched for me. Amy revealed Karen had tried to bribe someone to lie. I sent everything to HR. The hearing was announced. Karen hinted at a surprise. My nerves spiked, but Mia and I were ready. Amy discovered the surprise was a fake witness, whom Mia convinced to confess. The hearing was set for December 16th. The HR hearing on December 16th was my final battle. I walked in, my heart steady. I presented my evidence. The recordings of Karen admitting her theft, the emails, the logs, the witness's confession. She tried to blame me, but HR saw through her. They fired her on the spot. I felt free, a weight lifting from my shoulders. Horizon awarded me the $1.8 billion deal. My victory was sweet. Karen cornered me, her face broken, begging for a job outside the company. "Please," she pleaded. I shook my head and walked away. Tom and Mia cheered me on. The office buzzed with my story. My victory was a legend. My mom visited, telling me I had ruined Karen. Her words stung, but I stood firm. "I fought for what's mine," I said. She left quietly. Then I found a note from Karen in my old desk, hinting at a new plan. My heart raced, but Mia said it was a bluff. I kept the note, cautious but confident. Karen's shadow was gone, and I had built my own light. I was now running Pinnacle's top deals, known for my integrity. My career soared. Karen's lies were forgotten. I hung Lily's email on my wall, a trophy. Tom entered me, hinting at a C-suite role. This wasn't just about the deal, it was about proving I was no one's shadow. Karen's betrayal had forged me, and I had outgrown it. My resolve was iron, my future limitless. I stood tall,